Happy Monday, everyone. Ray here. Today we're going to look at some things going on in Cuba. As you may or may not know, the United States currently has a blockade set up around Cuba to try to force the Cuban people to overthrow their current government for a variety of reasons. Kind of like a smaller scale Iran situation. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. What I wanted to take a look at today was two things. One, a group called Code Pink was flown out to Cuba on the Cuban government's dime, kind of as a political stunt. The Cuban government put them up in a 5-star hotel that they powered with a generator while the rest of the country is in a blackout or rolling blackouts. And then we have another person here, Nick Hall, who released a video. That's not Nick. This is him. Nick Hall, who released a video where he himself traveled to Cuba with some of his team, and he actually went around and talked to normal, everyday people rather than being insulated in this little Cuban communist bubble that paints a false reality of the situation there. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at some of this Code Pink stuff. Actually, we'll take a look at Nick Hall's video first. I think it's better.
I flew to Cuba during a nationwide power blackout and amidst talks of the United States taking it over, because I want to see the side of the country the rest of the world doesn't get to see, the people. Yesterday I learned that it's common for buildings to collapse suddenly because of improper upkeep.
You can tell just looking at these. I mean, this is ruins of a building that collapsed. Clearly, just look how worn down and dilapidated this is. Terrible conditions. So a lot of people are complaining and crying that the U.S. blockade that was put up very recently is to blame for the conditions in Cuba. This is not something that occurs in a couple months or even a couple years. This looks like decades of rot and mismanagement and decades of not being cared for, to me, right? So it's just not a good situation down there.
And today, I'm going to see what it looks
And what did this guy say?
like to collapse suddenly because of improper upkeep.
1 month ago, another building fell in on itself.
And today,
8
I'm
people
going to see what
died.
it looks like when somebody has no
So because they don't maintain the buildings, they collapse, killing people.
other option but to call one of these abandoned buildings their home. On our way, a lady invited us inside of an old building. She's a teacher.
So this is a first grade classroom.
At first glance,
Okay, so it's a first grade classroom, but they have bars on the door or window or whatever. I mean, that's just not normal, man.
everything seemed normal until we saw what was being taught. Everything pointed back to the same place, the same people, the same ideas. We saw the same thing again later. Bookstores, libraries, shelf after shelf, telling one version of the story. Even fiction books must take place in communist or socialist worlds. We thought this was very odd. Eventually, we found this skeleton.
Look at this building. Look how just is distraught the correct word, I think. Look how terribly it's not taken care of at all. So this is a combination of two things. The people there who live there, they don't have the means to take care of it or the resources to, and or two, the government doesn't have the means or resources or the will to take care of it. Like this is in bad shape. It looks like, I mean, this is probably just shadowing, right? But it kind of looks like it's been through a fire or something. I don't know.
Of a building, completely fallen in on itself. This man is a part of one of the 9.
Like look at all the rubble and everything, man. It's just not great. And then compare the look of I think this is a really strong image. Compare the look of the door frame and the wall. I mean everything, the entire background, compared to this gentleman who lives there. He is so clean cut. This is a good looking dude. He takes care of himself. He looks great, man. I mean, he distressed. He distresses his jeans at a fashion sense. This is a stylish, good-looking dude. Contrasted with this just totally destroyed, dilapidated, run-down building, man. It's just sad. You know, someone who takes this good care of themselves, they don't want to live somewhere like this, man. He has to, right?
That live in the ruins of this building that once housed just one. His space is modest, just enough room
I mean, it's not a bad little room, but
for him and his wife.
you know,
Sick for a month with a cough. Of course, there was no electricity.
He was explaining to me that every time it rains, water seeps through and pools on the floor.
water leaking.
There's a certain sense of beauty in this community, one that's shadowed by commiseration. And in my video tomorrow, we'll talk to a tobacco farmer who gives 90% of his crop to the government.
90%.
Like, you're not allowed to complain. Sorry. No complaint.
Can't complain. What do you think happens if they complain? I think I know. Not good. So compare that to the Code Pink trip. This is just them painting a mural. Take a look at that.
To leave a gift and vision of humanidad. This is the mural.
Humanity.
For humanity, and it's going to have little boats with notes in it of love.
Boats with
And
notes.
it will- the words will go across all the way to the bird on the other side. There'll be fishes and sea life here, and it's from a poem with artists from all over the United States.
Okay, so they're painting a mural while they're there. Great. No problem with that. I don't know why this Rep Anna Paulina Luna, I don't know why she's highlighting them painting a mural while they're there as like problematic. That's fine to me. Whatever. What'd she say? Communist billionaire Neville Singham is paying to fly these Code Pink activists to Cuba to radicalize them with CCP propaganda against the U.S. I don't know. Like, if she's gonna highlight anything from this is like the most tame, minor thing possible. Now, this is another thing. This band, Kneecap, who no one's ever heard of until now, right? They were also flown out there to give a concert. So a big controversy I've seen with this is they used a lot of electricity to put on this concert. And during this Code Pink, Kneecap, government-funded trip, hospitals actually ran out of power and people on life support reportedly died. So it's just a very stark contrast. Let's see what they said here. Okay, just some Free Palestine BS. Okay, cool. What's this one? Code Pink co-founder Medea Benjamin arrives in Cuba to protest the U.S. blockade against the country's communist regime. Is that this lady? Okay, yeah, she looks like she'd be the founder.
Our solidarity with the people of.
Take a look at this.
We're here in the Havana Jose Marti Airport. This is just one part of the donations that we brought. There's 6,500 pounds donations. The value is about $500,000. It's a drop in the bucket for what Cuba needs, but it's a show of our solidarity with the people of Cuba and our opposition to what Trump is doing to try to strangle the Cuban people into submission.
Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no. Cuba sí bloqueo no.
Estamos aquí con las donaciones, bueno, es una parte de las donaciones y estamos aquí en el aeropuerto José Martí, en La Habana.
Yep, true.
Para decir al pueblo de Cuba que estamos con ellos y estamos totalmente en contra de la política de Donald Trump. We're here.
Totalmente en contra político de Donald Trump, in total opposition to the politics of Donald Trump, right? So, I mean, humanitarian aid, that's great. As stupid and crazy as I think these people are, hey, bringing aid there. Well, no, it's very short-sighted. In the grand scheme of things, they're undermining the U.S. political efforts and the goals of the United States government in the blockade we're putting on, right? And just to say it straight, the goal of that is to really to strangle the Cuban government and in turn the Cuban people and force them to a point where they have to overthrow their own government in order for the U.S. to lift their blockade and allow Cuba to import things and, you know, trade and all that. So really, they're just for the people who get this aid, it'll be good in the short term. But I mean, it's really just going to prolong it for people who don't benefit from that aid. And I think it's just very short-sighted. Here's one of the good ones. This is a contrast between the hotel these people are staying in and everybody else on the island. Benny Johnson. So while most of Cuba is in darkness due to power failure, Code Pink and other activists stay at the 5-star Grand Hotel Bristol in Havana with generators and luxury service. They're meeting Communist Party officials to protest the U.S. oil blockade of Cuba. Let's see. See how bright it is? All lit up, powered by a generator. Then you pan away from it. Watch this. Boom. This is advanced darkness. You can't see an inch in front of you out there. That's crazy. Like, that's actually insane. And boom. Insane. So, a lot going on in Cuba right now. Doesn't look too good. I don't know what this is. I mean, that's pretty much it. Mural again, yeah. There's Hassan Piker. He's part of this trip too, of course. Political, performative political stunt. And here you can just take a look inside too. This will look inside as well. The argument these people made for staying at the 5-star hotel is that it's the U.S. has deemed it illegal for American tourists to stay at like over 40 or 400. I don't know. Don't know if I'm adding a zero or taking a zero away. 40 or 400 of the Cuban hotels, so they have to stay in a 5-star hotel. But you can see it's all empty. There's nobody here except these activists that the Cuban government has flown in. Eating Italian food. Oh yeah. So it's all lit up, right? All lit up, all nice and fancy, and then you just walk any direction away from the hotel, right? Look at this. Boom. Complete darkness. It's like another world. Jeez. Complete darkness. Some people have flashlights. Phone light. Dude. It's so dark, bro. That's it. So yeah, crazy situation going on in Cuba. Honestly, I hope the Cuban people rise up and actually overthrow their government, so they can finally, you know, get on the track to becoming a first world country. There's some contrast videos out there as well between Cuba and the, I believe, the 1930s and today, and yeah, a bunch of this leader, the Code Pink. Oh, here's Mead. He's great. Jeremy Mead, Jeffrey Mead, I think. He makes some good videos. But yeah, there's some contrast videos of Cuba in the 30s as opposed to now, and they used to be a very prosperous country as well before. Was it Hugo Chavez? I don't know. Whoever it was, Castro, and whoever came out of after Castro. I'm a little shaky on my history these days, gonna be honest. It's just not a good situation. So I hope the Cuban people rise up, overtake their government, and implement some form of government, maybe not even democracy, but something that works for them and leads them to being prosperous, and not like the current situation is. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Cuba, kind of like a mini Iran right now. The Cuban people, beautiful people, great people, just like the people of Iran, beautiful, wonderful people. Saw on a intelligent or IQ test tracker that Iran is ranked like 4th in the world or something like that with average intelligence on IQ test. So very smart, wonderful people. They just have the misfortune of living under just crazy radical, actually extremist, communist, and in Iran's case, religious extremist governments that just oppresses them and prevents them from being prosperous and living their best lives. So whether you agree or don't agree with our actions in Iran or with the U.S. blockade of Cuba, really you should just pray that it all works out in the end and all the people there come out better off on the other side of these actions, right? Personally, I agree with both. I want them both to succeed, and the people of each government to overthrow their governments and install something better. And I'm an American, so you can guess what that means, right? Democracy. But yeah, that's about all I wanted to talk about. Happy Monday. I'll try to do one of these every day. I'm going to try to force myself to it. This was technically day 1, because the first day was an intro, which I made to help hold myself to doing this. I almost didn't do it today on day 1, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for joining me. If you want to, just keep up with, whatever I ramble about, feel free to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Drop a comment if you want to discuss it. I'll be responsive in the comments. I love discussing stuff. Would love to maybe do a podcast one day, talk to people about some of this stuff. I think that'd be great. Even if it's like someone who massively disagrees with me on this stuff, I think that would be better. It's much better in my opinion than having someone who's just agreeing with everything. So yeah, take it easy. Peace.